Have you ever wondered what it's like to time travel? Well, I have. A decade that I would want to go back to would be the 1950s. So many new opening things were happening, such as the music genre, the people, the movements. Everything was just so moving, powerful. I would want to live back in time and go into that decade. Someone that I do admire from that decade was Ritchie Valens. He was born May 13, 1941. He was a little boy that always dreamt of becoming big in the music scene. At a young age, he learned how to play all these instruments such as the drums, trumpet, piano, guitar, you name it. He was amazing at everything he did. He was just so influenced by all the Latin music that was going on at his time period that he wanted himself to be a musician. So growing up, like I said, he played music constantly. He was inspired by all these musicians, all these bands that were going on during this time period, and later on started making his own music. At around the age of 16, he did go ahead and join a band named the Silhouettes. He was the singer. He used to play the guitar as well in the band, and they would perform little gigs. He started off playing locally until he was discovered by a label owner that did go ahead and sign him in the record label and made a deal with him to be one of his to start a label with him, start his own music, make him famous, rise to fame, everything, you name it. Ritchie, of course, was very excited. He couldn't wait, so he did go ahead and sign in and begin writing his music. His first song that he did go ahead and write was Come On, Let's Go. It did become a great hit, however, it wasn't the biggest hit. So in order for him to focus 100% on what he loved, music, he did go ahead and quit school. Not a lot of people would agree with it at this time and period, or maybe they would. However, he did take the risk, believed in himself, his mom believed in himself, and he knew he could do it big. So he went ahead and quit school and went ahead and focused on his career. However, that outcome did go ahead and become successful later on in life. He did go ahead and release more singles such as La Bamba, which was a song already that was written. However, he wrote it in a rock and roll style, which later he became the first Chicano rock and roll musician. So he did many great things. He also wrote the song Donna, which was inspired by his girlfriend, which was a lovely ballad. Everybody was infatuated with this man. Everybody loved his music, loved him, loved his energy. Everybody was so excited to hear more. He had only released his singles, so he had released about 3 to 4 singles. He was barely getting there. He was starting up with his music career. So he was really young and was starting to become this great, amazing musician. He did go ahead and go in a few shows and was, entertaining the audience, and was even introduced to many people and made a few concerts here and there. And he was welcomed to become part of this whole concert that they were doing. It was called the Winter Party. It was going to be with a few other more musicians that were known at the time, and he agreed. They were going to do about 24 concerts across the world, and unfortunately it was cut shortly. They did go ahead and do a few. However, when they were going to go on their next one on February 3rd of 1959, they did go ahead and get in a plane crash. This plane accident was a tragedy to everybody that was in love with his music and in love with Ritchie. It was pretty devastating knowing that someone that had so much talent, that was so young, just at the age of 17, had passed away at such a young age. He had so many music that had been unreleased, so much that he still had to accomplish, yet he only accomplished so much in 8 months. He became what is known as Richie Valens, you know, the legacy that he has created. After his death, the label did go ahead and, you know, release that music, and we did go ahead and receive his album, which was Richie Valens' Greatest Hits, which we all love, we appreciate. Even though it wasn't the many albums we desired, we did go ahead and get one. And to this day, many of us still listen to his music. I remember the way I reached out to his music and got to know more his music was because of the movie La Bamba, which was released in 1987. That was kind of an influence for me because that's when I saw his story. I saw how young he was. I understood of the dreams that he's had, because, you know, all of us have dreams. We all dream of becoming big with either, not only with our, like, you know, not only musicians, actors, we all want to become something in life. So I did understand his dream of becoming a musician, you know, and I did, like everybody does, we dream, and I believed in him. We all believed in him like we believe in ourselves. So I understood, I connected with his story. You know, I also love that there was a musician that was a Mexican American, because he did, and he does represent our culture. Not he has been representing our culture. So I find that super amazing. That's why when I saw that movie, he influenced me. He made me, you know, believe in my dreams and what is to come. Even though his life did end pretty soon, I still believe he accomplished so much. You know, he left a legacy behind. So many people he made proud. And even his mom, she was proud of him, even though he did pass away at such a young age. He made his whole family proud. So that's, you know, why I believe this is such an amazing story to tell, because he was just such a talented young man that not a lot of people focus on or talk about. And I believe, you know, that we should be talking more about him. So that movie, you know, if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. It's a really good movie. And yeah, I mean, if you do believe in something like him, you know, go for it. If you do watch the movie, that's basically the whole thing you'll go ahead and get from that. You should follow your dreams. He was such a young man. He did, you know, he did become this big musician at just 16. Like I said, it only lasted 8 months, but he made the best out of it. He enjoyed every bit of it. He loved his fans. He loved giving us these singles. He enjoyed his journey. It could have been longer, but I mean, that's just what life gave him. However, we all appreciate what his music has become to this day.